Okay, you stayed with us? Great. Michael Stricker, SEMrush. SEMrush, do you use SEMrush? Almost everybody does use SEMrush. Michael Stricker, USA Commercial Director. Hi Michael, how are you doing?
Very good. Anton, I hope you're doing well too.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just fine. We're out of schedule a little bit and people trying to shoot me because I'm talking too much, you know? Well, I'm sorry guys, I shut up. Okay, Michael, SEMrush. Michael, it's all yours.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much, Anton, and very pleased to be here with Web Promo Experts today for your beautiful SEO day. It's a Friday, and I just want to make sure that I've got the proper thing up here on my screen. So we're going to go to conversation here and pull up my screen. And there we go. And now I'm going to go over to my deck and I'm going to pull it up. There's some good information here for everybody about rapid rising search rank and are there SEO techniques that perhaps we're overlooking. So just coming into the slide view. And here we go. So hopefully everybody can see what you need to see here. It's SEMrush Search Data Report. What I want to talk about today is, SEOs frequently moan or complain about Google's perceived preference for ranking big brands in the highest positions. So does a brand name, yes. Okay, I'm going to go back here and hang on.
No, maybe it was an idea, I don't know.
Maybe I need to press start. How's
and
that?
full screen?
Yep, coming up. Coming right up here. All right, play from start. And that should be good. Excellent. Glad. Okay. So now with the glitches out of the way, let's get into does a brand name actually help a site rank better? We've seen where exact match domain names were at one time a popular thing for SEO, but exact match domain names no longer deliver extra search engine result page lift for rank. But does a combination of brand, keyword, and new SEO best practices contribute to rapidly rising rank? And so what I needed to do using SEMrush data, which was a good way of getting into this, was find out how is Google treating the new top-level domains that are becoming available, and is this actually a case of back to the future? So let's dive into this data. You're among the first people in the world to see this. This was presented at NamesCon very recently, and let's get in. So if you don't know SEMrush, this is a quick description. Who am I? A US Marketing Director, SEMrush, some of the places that I've spoken before. Top-level domains, just so you know, when I say TLD, I mean top-level domains, and this is how they look when they appear in a fully qualified domain name. It would be domain.tld, and this is what comes after the dot. So let's get into this. With 903 new TLDs delegated, these are being made available in vast numbers for people to use. Now, if you operate websites for yourself, for your own e-commerce, your brand, or you do this for clients, you might think about all of these new TLDs that are available, and are they worth investing in? Are they performing well in search? And why are we talking about search? Well, because search, right? 93% of buying cycles start with an online search. That's Marketo marketing automation software saying that, so it's not just me. And of these 903 new TLDs that are becoming available, we see that 67 of these have non-Latin character sets that include Chinese, Kanji, Cyrillic. So whether that's part of what you need to consider or not, there's a wide availability across many character sets or glyphs. And gTLDs are something that's new. These are mixed in there as well. So people are used to CC TLDs, which is country code TLDs, .us, .whatever. Now you've got .London, .NYC for New York City, .Budapest. I mean, there's many, many of these that are in the process of becoming available. In addition, what else is available? Well, you've got .brands. This is becoming very popular for acquisition. A lot of brands are at least doing a defensive buy where they're buying the domain names that include their brand name. So .AAA, .Amex, .Apple, right on through .Yandex and .Zappos. Lots of these are being taken up, and this is a custom thing where my understanding is for probably somewhere between $180,000 to $200,000, you could own that brand as a TLD. Not coms. Why are we even talking about not coms? Because .coms are depleted. They're very difficult to get the proper name in. And with a little creativity, you can come up with some great stuff. So just looking at this, I spoke with Bill McCurry. He's the head of coffee.org, and coffee.club was a domain that he moved over to with great success. He moved his domain over there, did a great migratory job because there's all kinds of canonicalization and redirects and content duplication issues that you may have to deal with, but a good plan and a good move, and he has soared in his visibility with coffee.club. In addition, you see these others, decora.fashion, viral.buzz. When the domain name includes 2 keywords, not just one, could this really be a boost? Well, we're going to see some results from SEMrush with regard to the popularity of these new domain names, new top-level domain names as well, in the top 1,000,000 results. But if I were a lawyer, which is a very, very competitive SEO game in the US, I might be looking at williamsport.lawyer or jacksonville.attorney because I can now combine a geographic word with a top-level domain name. So there's lots of great combinations that you can start to see here. When we talk about the new TLDs, as of just recently, 805 of these generic TLDs that are not restricted are open to registrations. And 721 of these new TLDs are found among SEMrush search data. That's almost 90%. And I've heard it from the product owners of SEMrush that they will commit to having the maximum number of new TLDs represented in search data. All that's required is that they have some popular keywords, that they start ranking among the top 100 results in the SERPs. Well, do they? Is the question that we want to get to here. So there's this issue with top-level domains. They're becoming available. Lots of people are registering them, but it doesn't mean they're being used for actual websites. People are not necessarily building on them. They're buying the top-level domain name, and they're holding them. So you got 12.5 million of these new top-level domains on those new top-level domains registered, but not necessarily in use. But you can see the registrations soaring recently. And now we finally get to some data. So among the new TLDs, we see almost none visible in 2014. About 21 showed up, a little blip in 2014, these new TLD domains showing up among SEMrush's top 1 million. Top 1 million websites, top rank in the SERPs for the maximum number of keywords. We're going to use the top 1 million as a measure of the most popular websites available according to Google data. So we see in 2015, last year, by the end of the year, almost 2,000 new domains on new top-level domains rose to the top 1 million domains. So there's a massive increase in popularity in 2015, and that's a good sign if you're actually thinking about moving over to a new top-level domain. Among the new top-level domains that are available, which are the ones that are showing up the most frequently? So in the top 1 million, we see the most popular and most highly ranked domains occurring with the .xyz, .nyc, and .club domain names. .xyz was very popular. It was released and sold at a very low price point. It was very, very popular. Lots of purchases made, lots of domains moved on to it early. It was not expensive to do, and we see a lot of popularity there. But a lot of very similar results for .pics, .church, .today, .website, .link turns out to be pretty popular. And so this is what's showing up in the top million. How does this look when compared to what has actually been registered? Remember the difference between in use, and that's what's on the left, and what has actually just been registered but may not be in use yet. So worldwide, we see the registrations going to .xyz, again, a brilliant promotion, low price point, early out of the gate, .top and .club being very, very popular. And then moving down from there, .wang, .win, you've got some non-Latin characters, and then .science, .link, etc. Well, we see .link in both of our lists here, so it's actually being put into use. And there is some idea that especially the Chinese market is subject to a great deal of speculation, a lot of domain name registration and purchasing without a lot of use. So it seems to be a buy and hold strategy for now. And that may change, so it bears watching. But there's a difference between actual use and ranking highly and registrations only. So how do the new domain names, top TLDs, compare with the old? And of those, among the top 2,000, a random sampling of the top 2,000 results from the old domains compared with the new domains, new top-level domains, we see that there's a heavy, heavy concentration among the old in .coms and .orgs. And we know this, and we always, lean towards, especially in the US market, .com. That's all that anybody wanted to buy. But we see among the new TLDs, there's a much broader distribution among the available names. And so we expect that this is going to continue, and there's not going to be this lopsided concentration on a single .com top-level domain. All right, let's look at among the top million ranking domains, our new top-level domains against our random sample of old domains. We see the new TLDs, median rank among them is rapidly advancing over the past few months. I mean, it's just taking off, and it looks like it's soon to overtake that of the old TLDs. What could happen when this happens? The new TLDs will actually be more likely to be ranking higher than the old TLDs, and that's something of note and of promise to people. Let's move on to the average keywords. Now, this is eye-opening. This is telling us that the average number of keywords for which the top million domains rank, each of these domains could be ranking for this many keywords, the new TLDs are apparently being recognized by Google as being relevant for many more keywords than the old TLDs. When we think of this as an average, that they have already surpassed the old TLDs in terms of how many keywords Google is prepared to recognize them as relevant for. Now, are these new sites? Are they doing a great job with content? Are they very ambitious and eager? Yes, probably to all of those things, but this is a very big story. And if we watch this over time, we expect to see this play out in a pretty exciting way. Keywords won and lost is a factor that's observable in SEMrush and probably other tools. Among these top million domains, how many keywords are they ranking for in Google that are new for which they're appearing? And how many keywords do they no longer appear for in Google? So won and lost keywords among these domains, we see the new domains are appearing for many, many more keywords over the old ones. So the old ones are, being revealed, if you will, for a smaller number of keywords. How many keywords are they losing? Well, the new domains are losing more keywords, but if we look at the ratio, The won lost ratio for new TLDs is over 2. So they're winning twice as many keywords as they are losing, whereas the old domains are only winning about 1.5 times the keywords that they are losing. There's seems to be a clear and distinct advantage going to new TLDs. Is this because they are new and Google's just adding them to the index? I'm not sure. Bears watching over time. And this is what it looks like. Top bar is for the new TLDs. You see lots and lots of won keywords. That's the blue bars above the black line, and very little in the way of lost keywords below the black line. On the bottom, the old TLDs, among the top million domains, you see a fairer distribution. Yes, significant numbers of keywords won, but a very similar amount of keywords lost. So there's this sort of balance here. Again, maybe there's some, maybe not preferential treatment, but a better job being done, perhaps, with the new TLDs. Now, we're talking about good stuff. We're talking about things that are working. We're talking about how these things actually seem to be performing according to what we can learn about their appearance in Google and their rank. But new TLDs are not proof against Google algorithmic updates. And we see among our data that there are mp3 skull.wtf on the .wtf new TLD, .directory, .club. Some of these did quite well and won lots of keywords, but all of a sudden, we see some of them, the orange bars, lost all of their keywords and basically disappeared from the top 100 ranks in Google. So looking at these, it's easy to extract that mp3 skull, perhaps mp3 Azure, mp3 gear, and go unblock, that these sites are probably places where one can watch streaming video, perhaps listen to music, and this stuff could have been pirated, or at least Google likely interpreted it that way. And according to the pirate algorithmic update, it basically de-indexed these sites. So simply having a new top-level domain doesn't make you proof against Google's algorithm. It doesn't seem that they're going to give you a preferential treatment. So let's just take a minute here. I'm getting close to the end, but I want to say that there's these myths, and we're just going to take a minute and maybe bust a couple of these myths. That myth 1, keywords in URLs have no SEO value. And I've heard some people say this, and I've said it myself when it has to do with exact matched domain names, that they really have no SEO value, when in point of fact, keywords in URLs do maintain a small ranking factor. They actually contribute. It's not an enormous boost, but it's in line with many other small ranking factors. Now, if you read this from John Mueller, he believes that it's a small ranking factor. It's not something that he suggests that you force, and it's not something that they expect that you would restructure your whole site so that you can get keywords in your URL. Let's think about this. As most ranking factors are small, if we take Google at its word that there are over 200 of these, sure, each one might be, if it were all flat, we might say that they're worth 0.5% each. That's not very much. But let's multiply that in a couple of ways. One is that your domain name can now include not 1 but 2 keywords and may therefore be sort of twice as relevant or already demonstrating a theme between 2 keywords. It's almost like its own phrase already. And 2, if this occurs with every single URL on your website, it's conceivable that it could provide a big boost across the entire domain. Small boost for each page could add up to some pretty sizable help in ranking. So let's move on to another myth. Google doesn't like new TLDs. They will not rank well. And some people are saying this, they're very skeptical about this. And so if we take a look at what Google actually says, that the click-through rates may actually increase because users will trust domains when they see either the brand name so that they trust that they're actually communicating with that brand when they use that website, or that they see a top-level domain such as .bank. So .bank could be huge because it's going to be a restricted TLD. You must prove that you're a bank in order to get it in the first place, and so therefore, it's going to be difficult to trick this. Now, we're going to have to watch this play out. I know of one bank, lead.bank, that's out there now, and they are working, they have their domain up and running, and we're going to see how users actually trust this and whether it deserves to be more trustworthy. But that's the story behind it. Google also endorses the trend to new TLDs by owning .google, .youtube, and other new top-level domains that are branded. Good for them, but if they do it, you've got to figure it's fine for everybody. They are a domain name registrar. They will resell domain names, and they wouldn't be doing this if they were not going to give them fair treatment. And then turning to abc.xyz as the domain name for its parent Alphabet division was a pretty big move. And so if Google does this again, you can expect that they're going to treat everybody fairly. I think it bears saying that from what we see, that Google is invested in treating these top-level domains, these new top-level domains, at least as fairly as old top-level domains. So if you had a client with a new product, needs a new website, or you're thinking about moving something and you have the budget to put against a good planned migration, this might be an excellent investment for you because Google is telling you that while they may not give it a special advantage, they are not going to give it a disadvantage. They're not going to treat it poorly. So hoping this helps you make a decision. This could be huge, and we're going to be watching the story unfold in 2016. So thanks, everybody, for attending. I'm sure Anton is going to pop in any moment, and I'm going to offer a free 14-day trial SEMrush Guru. Jot down that URL rapidly. I've got to give a shout out to Bill Hartzer, who invited SEMrush to join him at NamesCon, which was a great conference for domain names. And the data that was put together by Qi Zhao, our data scientist at SEMrush, did a great job with that. So moving over to questions, and back to you, Anton.
Okay, thank you very much, Michael. I don't think we have a lot of time for questioning. Okay, first question is typical question. Which domain for international project is to take as a local domain? If you're doing, for example, I don't know, for United States, should it be United States? Or you're doing it for Brazil, should it be Brazilian domain? Or should be just something else? What do you think?
For a business that has a regional, national level interest, yeah, you would capitalize on a geo TLD, and it would be in your nation. So there are city TLDs you can see for London and NYC, and if that's your primary presence, and it has something to do with people's minds, this really has to do with brand. People think of you being in NYC, then go after that.
Yeah, and if it's an international one, another question is, if it's an international project, so the project is for rest of the world, would it be better to have a domain from country of origin or just from some? Michael, you can actually stop sharing the screen so we can see you instead of your presentation.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Stop sharing.
Okay, great. Okay, so question is, if this project is international, truly international, would it be better from a ranking point of view to use local? For example, I'm a Ukrainian company, but I'm doing an international project. What would be better to use? What do you think?
I would think that if you're really truly going for international and global business, that you would do better with something there's probably .world available. So you would think about doing that because why? It's an instant declaration that your business is relevant worldwide. And I wouldn't restrict yourself to any particular country, nor would I try to build out, I think, a bunch of domains with TLDs and using .vn for Vienna, Austria, or something like that. That's not probably going to work. It's going to be a lot of effort with little return.
Okay, I'm checking if do we have other questions. Can I ask you a personal question?
Personal.
Yeah.
Fire away.
Is it your last presentation as a SEMrush?
Yes, yes, it is. I have reached the point where SEMrush has been doing very, very well. I've been with them for about a year and a half, and grateful for all the friends that I've made on the road for them, as well as you, Anton. I mean, you've been a great guy, and
Thanks.
Appreciate being on your webinar. But looking at new opportunities, got some interest with some brands, and as always, as I'm sure most of your audience does, lots of freelance and other projects in the works. So, but thanks for asking.